been a while since I made a transcription, and it's not that I've given up on them. It's just that I've been super busy. But I needed to get around to doing one, and I needed to get around to making another bass one because it's been ages since I made one for bass. So it's Halloween now, and I landed on Beyond the Tanarian Hills by Rudimentary Peni. I loved this band whenever I was younger, and I love this bass line, and it's super simple. Um, it's basically only two parts. You get a first verse and a second verse, and you can think of it as an A section and a B section, and they're both basically the same set of notes, but the bass varies the B section by jumping up an octave and doubling up the notes that you have in the A section, which is a legitimate technique that I try to let everyone know about when we're doing our scales and we're doing our improv early on. When you run out of ideas, just double up notes. Um, you know, there's no need to complicate it. It's not something that takes a lot of brain power, and it's legit. Alright, so we'll start with the first verse. We have an intro, just the bass on its own, and then the verse proper. Bar 2/4 there, and back to 4/4. Okay, so it's very straightforward. You're staying on the one string the whole time, so that's the one. It sounds right. You could play it in position, and that's how I transcribed it. But that just doesn't sound right to me, playing on the low E string. Timbre's wrong. So I'm pretty sure in the recording it all stays on the A string, and that's the way I've written out here. But you can play it in position if you like, but just really think about that tone because that's important too. So yeah, the basic idea behind it is just constant eighth notes in 4/4. Bar 8 is a little surprise bar 2/4 where you're just repeating the idea in the previous bar. You know, when you go, right, and that's something else to keep in mind for your skills in improv and composition as well. Right, and then after that, you know, it's still the same stuff. I'm playing this with a pick. If you'd like, play it with your fingers. That's fine. This is a really comfortable song to play with the fingers, not too fast. Okay, then verse 2, you were basically taking the same material from verse 1, transposing up an octave, and we're going to double up some of the notes. So you go from the A string to the D string, and you start at the 12th fret. And it's really neat, this idea of just doubling up notes. I think I said it before. I said it to a lot of my students who are starting their scales or who are doing improv. If a scale gets easy, start doubling up the notes. If you can't think of what to do next, like you've run out of licks or run out of ideas when you're improvising, just start doubling up some of the notes from the scale. It's a legitimate technique, and it will freshen everything up, and then hopefully it'll inspire you to do some more stuff, but it keeps you going, right? It'll power your way through the stuff, and it's used really well in this here song. The whole verse 2, those notes, the E, F and G, are doubled up, and the D follows the kick pattern, right, the whole way through up until bar 21. So I picked this up from the recording that the bass actually, I don't know whether it's intentional or whether the note, you know, was just missed whenever they were trying to get that kick rhythm, but it happens in bar 21 and bar 23 where you have this rhythm instead. Okay, it's kind of, if if you know how to play the blues, that's your swing fiddle, kind of. So a dotted quaver and a dotted semiquaver, dotted eighth note, a dotted quaver and a semiquaver, and a dotted eighth note and a 16th note. That's what I meant for most of the audience. That's probably easier to understand. The American terms are better, sorry to say. But yeah, that there tripped me up a ton of times and made this here video that I should have just done one take. Every time I got to that, I heard the kick and I followed it, and it turned this here into like an hour and a half long of playing over and over again and getting ready to scream, because this is super simple, but just having to ignore that kick was not something I was capable of doing. So you yourself might find this tricky. The only thing you can do is do what I did and really focus on it and come away from the song and try to get that into your body. That's really all it is. You need to have the music in your body. You need to practice that movement over and over and over again until you can kind of ignore what your ear's telling you should be doing and play it as it is on the record. So just get that into your body, and you won't really have to think about the rhythm or anything like that there. Your hands will just make the right movements whenever it has to, and you'll finish the song and it'll be fine. Of course, you could just play with the kick. That was probably what was intended, but the note was missed each time. So one last thing I wanted to add before I finished off this video was the transition from verse 1 to verse 2. So when you're making a big jump from 5th position to 12th position, obviously there's going to be a bit of space. But on the track I could have held it longer, but I went with that take because my finger was really starting to hurt. So as I said earlier about the kick pattern, I'd repeated the song so many times I was getting a blister. So I don't really care at that point. But ideally, I would hold it for 4 beats and then I would jump on the and, so like 1, 2, 3, 4 and like that there. Obviously if you didn't want any space at all, you could make that same transition to the octave on the first string here. So you could go and on the notation that would be closer to what the rhythm was telling you to go for. But the timbre doesn't sound right to me, so that's why I made that jump up to the 12th fret. You can play it however you like. Alright, so that's everything that I wanted to cover in this song. If you like goth and you like punk stuff, definitely check out this band. Really, really great band, really great music and artwork. So 100% give them a listen, check them out.